Hello and welcome to the presentation on toddler health promotion. We'll be covering preventative visits, sleep, dental, and safety considerations for toddlers. So this is the schedule of preventative visits during the toddler years. We have 18 months, 24 months, and 36 months. So the first thing you should notice is this is much less frequent than during the first year of life. This schedule is created around the immunization schedule. Additionally, at each visit, the provider may have parents fill out an ages and stages questionnaire, or ASQ, to assess development, or another similar developmental test. They will measure their height, their weight, their head circumference, and do a physical exam. And then at one of these visits, usually the 18 or 24-month visit, they'll evaluate whether or not the child needs a lead test. So this screening is done on children that are considered high risk between the ages of 1 and 2, and then on most children between the ages of 3 and 5. And your risk is usually calculated based on whether or not you're in an older home that might have lead-based paint, or if you are living in a geographical location that might be at higher risk to lead exposure. If you remember Flint, Michigan, where there was lead in their water, obviously that location would be considered high risk and all children there would be screened. And the reason that we screen in children and also in older adults is because their brains and nervous system are more vulnerable. And for children, they are still developing. So they have more adverse outcomes to any sort of exposure to lead. Sleep is another part of health promotion for education of toddlers. Most children from the ages of 1 to 2 years will drop from 2 naps a day to 1 nap. And their total sleep in a 24-hour period would be about 11 to 12 hours. And then by school age, that's usually when they will drop their naps. But some children will drop earlier, and even if they do not want to go down and sleep for a nap, it's important for them to have rest time during the afternoon, just to have a period to kind of be calm and decompress. It gives them some independent time away from the chaos of the family and then helps them to really rejuvenate for the evening. Sleep problems at this age are often varied. Behavioral sleep resistance is extremely common in toddlers. They usually don't want to go to bed, or they might not want to take naps. So having a good routine and sticking to it can really help them anticipate when those nap and bedtimes are coming, but also evaluating any issues that surround that time. Is it too early? Are they not tired enough, or even overtired? I don't know if you've heard the saying sleep begets sleep. It's often mentioned more in the infants, but even for toddlers as well. It seems counterintuitive, but oftentimes a child that has not gotten enough sleep will have trouble actually going to sleep. As far as sleeping situations go, toddlers should fall asleep on their own in their own sleep space. And if they are sleep deprived for any reason, you will see behavior changes, such as impaired learning or really strong emotions or mood swings, increasing tantrums, and lots of really impulsive behavior. When we talk about dental health, children should really have a dental home by 1 year or within 6 months of getting their first tooth. By the time they're 1, a toddler should be brushing their teeth at home using a fluoride toothpaste. We do recommend a very small amount, because at this age, toddlers usually don't spit their toothpaste out. So a pea-sized amount is important because they're going to be swallowing it. One way that you can incorporate that need for independence in a toddler into toothbrushing, and to make it more pleasurable for them, is to let them brush first. But obviously they don't have the skills to do a really great job, so then the parent can jump in and finish for them. But that continual exposure to toothbrushing and the dentist's office is really important. When they do go to the dentist, they're not necessarily going to do a full exam for a while, but that repetitive exposure helps to make the child more comfortable. Safety is a huge part of toddlerhood as well. They're more mobile and more accident prone because they're not as aware of danger as they are of wanting to explore their environment and wanting to use their physical skills. Another big safety concern is drowning. It's important to ensure that they are never alone around water, because even an inch of water can cause a problem. Early swim lessons, as well as constant supervision, even in shallow water, should be encouraged to parents. As for motor vehicle safety, toddlers should still be in a car seat. In the state of Illinois, they should be rear facing until they are 2, but ideally rear face as long as possible until they outgrow the recommendations for the car seat. I've seen pictures of 4, 5, 6-year-old kids, with their knees kind of up and bent because they're getting so tall, but they're still rear facing because it's just the safest position for them to be, because then the impact of the force of the car braking puts them against the seat back rather than whipping them forward where they don't have any support. Motor vehicle accidents are actually one of the most common causes of accidental or unintentional death in children between the ages of 1 and 4, and it's usually because they're not properly restrained. So educating parents about resources regarding car seat installation, car seat checks, you can usually go to the fire department or a child safety technician. Those things are really important. Accidental poisonings also become really common in this age range because they're able to get into cabinets and open bottles. It's very important to tell parents that all the chemicals and cleaning products in the house should be locked up. All the pills, even at grandma's house, aunt's, uncle's house, those should all be removed. Most of the overdoses that I have seen in the hospital are from unsecured adult medications like metformin or blood pressure medications. Toddlers are surprisingly fast and agile, and they will get into things that you don't think that they are capable of getting into. Burns are also a safety concern in this age because they like to start turning knobs. And so one of the more common places for this to happen is in the bathtub, where they might turn that hot water on all the way and then turn the cold water off, and they'll get burns from that hot water. So a good way to prevent that is to make sure that your hot water heaters are set below 120 degrees. And then making sure of stove safety, that the handles of pots aren't hanging over the edge so that children can get to them. I remember even when I was a kid, there was like this really animated cartoon on TV. It was like a PSA where like they showed all of the, I think they were animated pots or something, and they would like all turn their own handles away from like facing out of the, over the edge of the stove. Because, they can grab them and then they can dump the boiling water all over themselves. Choking is also still an issue at this age. Toddlers love to put things in their mouths, so making sure that the toys they have are an appropriate size. We're still cutting grapes, chopping things into small pieces, not letting them eat whole hot dogs, that sort of thing. And then finally, falls. Toddlers don't realize the danger, and a lot of toddlers really like to explore to the extent of their physical ability by climbing higher and farther than they ever have. So just make sure that they're being properly supervised and allowing them to extend themselves in a way that is both developmentally beneficial, but also safe. And finally, I'm going to end this lecture with a video of my girls. When Addie, my youngest, began walking at 13 months, just to kind of show you how unstable she was on her feet and the frequency of the falls that occur. This was at a hotel, gross floors and all, and just for age reference, Emmy is 3.5 here.
Let's go!
Slow, huh? You gotta wait for it to stand up all the way. Come back. Okay, go slow. There, perfect. Look at that, Emmy. You see how slow you're going? And stop. And let her get down. Or turn around slowly. You have to like walk in a little circle. Good. Look at how good you are now, Emmy. Nope, slower, slower.
Get back up.
Slow down. Slow. Slow. You cannot start running, Emmy. That's not fair. Go. The problem is now Addie's just always going to try to grab onto the back of Emmy whenever she's... Oh, careful. Addie, you having fun? Slower, slower.
Just as a quick aside, she was completely fine after that, I promise.
And that concludes the lecture on toddler safety. I will see everybody next time. Have a great day.